Hello there, I'm Jo Bean, and in this episode of the Brassettes podcast, I'm chatting to Wizz Bannan, who is Principal Trombone No.2 with the Ulster Orchestra in Belfast. Wizz is originally from the northeast of England, and she started her musical life as a young cornet player in a local brass band. Hope you enjoy our chat. Hiya Wizz, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. You've been up to loads of stuff lately, haven't you? I've heard from your mum about your move.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we haven't quite moved yet. We're still in the in-between stage.
Right, okay then. So you've got a position, haven't you, with the Ulster Orchestra?
Yeah.
Brilliant. So how's that going? Have you started?
Yeah, so I actually started the job back in January.
Right.
But I've just been commuting because we're selling our house and buying a house, and it's just taken forever. So I've been doing the job since January, but just going back and forwards.
I didn't realise, dear me. So that's good going then, isn't it? That must take a lot of planning.
Yeah, it's the logistics. Poor Aoife's sort of in the middle. We just pass her between my parents and Toby in nursery. She just sort of moves around.
I know, but that's it, isn't it? So and I noticed that she'd been over yesterday to see you, didn't she?
Yeah, she
did. Your mum?
We've had to register at a preschool over here.
Right.
Even though we've not moved yet, those applications had to be done in January. So we just had to sort of pick somewhere and get her registered. So we brought her over so that she can see. She came with my mum and we went to see the school, and she met a new childminder. So she's kind of got that to look forward to.
Oh, that's brilliant, though, isn't it? So has she been to some of your concerts yet then?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but she will. No. That's it, isn't it? Oh, so how is it going then? Because Neil Galley's there, isn't he? Is he still there?
He is, yeah. So he's first trombone, I'm second trombone.
Fantastic. Oh, well, he'll be...
Because, I have memories of being absolutely tiny, and when I just started playing trombone, and obviously, this massive big guy came over with his trombone and, was playing with the band, and now it's, really bizarre to be sat next to him.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant, though, isn't it? Because, obviously, we know Neil from when he was only, probably 17, when he used to come to British Steel. And he was absolutely fantastic. You could just tell he was going to be a great player. So that's brilliant that you're all sat together, isn't it? And you're all from the northeast.
I know we're going to slowly take over. There's a couple of other people in the orchestra who've been here a long time but are originally from the northeast. So we've got our own little contingent of northeast players.
That's brilliant then, isn't it? So what kind of how would a typical week look for you then in your role? Because this is like a permanent, this is like full-time employment now, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's up to now, from sort of when I was at college, I've been freelancing for, sort of 10, 11 years. And so now this is a big change because it's a full-time contract. So we have an advanced schedule sort of for the year, and then you can sort of see how everything's planned out. So you have so many sort of season concerts a year. It's kind of like your big repertoire, and then we have we'll have rehearsals for that during the week, and they'll generally be on a Friday or Saturday night, and then we'll have pops concerts, so like ABBA or film music, stuff like that. We've got education stuff to fit in, so we'll go out to local primary schools and things like that. So it's a big mix, really. But it's nice because you kind of see it. The difference between being freelancer now is you can see it sort of planned ahead, and you know what's coming up, and you can sort of work towards that.
That's the thing, isn't it? So as well as professionally, that you've got your more, you know what I mean? You've got more structure, but then it's going to be better, isn't it, for the family as well as, once you
massively.
Yeah,
massively. Just even now, I've already got my schedule for the whole next year, and it's only obviously, it's only a draft schedule, but you already have some idea of we'll be here then, and we'll be here then, and you know when you might have time off, so you can just sort of plan a bit more what you want to do.
That's the thing, isn't it? And your mum and dad will be over. They'll be coming over in the summer, won't they? They'll be over more than that, won't they?
Yeah, well, we need my dad's building services anyway, so...
Oh, exactly. Trevor will do you. Fantastic. So have you got a house in Ireland then yet? Or are you still in the process?
No, we've had an offer accepted. It's just taken a very long time. So yeah, we have a house that we are hopefully moving into. I thought it would be this month, and I think it's going to be another 2 or 3 months. But yeah, we do have a house.
Brilliant. And then you'll have your dad there ready to get cracking.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So you've so is it the past 10 years you've been freelancing then?
Yeah, thereabouts. Yeah. Pretty much since I was at college, and so yeah, it's a really big change from that. Really, yeah, just 10 years of sort of managing a freelance diary.
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, because when so you went to you were at Egglescliffe School, weren't you?
Yeah.
And then you went. Where did you go after that then?
I went to the Northern in Manchester.
You went to the Northern, of course. Yeah. So, and then what was your first kind of gig then when you were freelancing? What would you say? Can you?
I just started doing something you quite often start doing. It's called bumping, which is where like if you've got quite a big concert and there's a lot of playing, then like the trombones will get an extra trombone in to just sort of like share the load a little bit, if you like. So you sort of, you bump the first trombone player and just sort of take it in turns a bit with the playing. So I started doing a few things like that for sort of Manchester orchestras for big concerts, just being an extra player, and then you just sort of build it up from there, really.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Well, that's great, isn't it? Because how old's your little girl now?
She's 3.5.
So she's only dead young, isn't she?
Yeah,
you've managed all that. Because it's hard, isn't it, when you try to keep it all going.
Yeah, especially like freelancing, that was a big worry. Was obviously I wasn't entitled to any like maternity leave. I just had the statutory maternity pay, which is pretty,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was a challenge. So, I kind of, things like that, I went back to work really earlier than I would have liked to. But, it's not just the financial thing. It's that thing of, well, if you just disappear for 9 months to a year,
exactly.
Obviously you've got to worry that, someone else will come in and start doing the work. And, it's like you've kind of got to get your name back out there again.
That's the thing, isn't it? And it's, like, I know everybody's different, but like when I had my kids, like Howard Williams nearly 19 now. I'm so, honestly, I can't believe it, really. He's in bed still, like he's back from uni, he's asleep. That's about right. But like when he was born, so like he was born in 2006. Now I obviously played at Everready, didn't I? Reg Vardy were there then. But the thing is, I think like even like keeping your banding going is difficult when because like when I had him, it was in July, but I was really, really wanting to keep my place, So like I went back like 6 weeks later, which was just over 6 weeks for British Open, and
it's mad, isn't it?
It's crazy. But like, I mean, I'm glad I did it, but like, God, I put so much pressure on myself. And like, I was practicing like mad, but the thing is, it's all the like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's like they're going into it all, isn't it? It's like, you know what I mean? A bit like a dairy farm.
I was so worried about, like, people talked about the like, I was talking to people who'd had kids and saying, oh, how soon did you go back to work, and trying to predict what I would do. And I was just worrying about my chops and thinking, would I be like in shape with my chops to go back to work? But then it's the whole like just physically getting yourself to work was like,
of course it is. Like, and the lack of sleep as well, isn't it? No sleep.
Honestly, the first thing I did was about 11 weeks after Aoife was born, and my chops felt all right. It was just that I remember like I kept blinking because my eyes were so tired. Music properly, and I was trying to, like, my ability to just sight read anything, I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing.
See, that's it, and it's just like keeping going, isn't it? And the thing is, like, we work so hard to keep it all going, I think that's it. And like, I don't regret, like, I did the same with Martha, I went straight back, but like it's you get used to juggling, don't you? It's like so hard, but you don't want to lose that momentum, do you? Like, I knew that if I'd have lost my place, I probably would have that would have probably been me for quite a few years, really. And I knew that I wanted to keep playing, and it is like when it's your career as well, dear me, you've got even more pressure on yourself, haven't you, to get back out there.
Like, you're kind of trying to survive on the statutory maternity pay. And so you've got that in the back of your mind of, well, we can't do that long. Just on that, it's like, actually, you sort of see other people coming in to do concerts that maybe you would have been asked to do. And obviously I wanted to spend as much time at home, but then at the same time, like I started going back to work, but also I had a trial for a different job so I was on trial for a different job, and that started when he was probably about 12 weeks old, something like that. And I didn't want to, there was other jobs that year that I'd not applied for because they were at the time that I was giving birth. So I kind of felt like, well, I really wanted this job. And if I didn't go and do the trial for it as well, then obviously, these processes kind of have to run at the time that they run. And I was like, I don't want to miss out on it and not be part of it. But then I carried a lot of guilt about, I was rushing up and down the country trying to go and do trials in these different places. And my mum and dad were coming down to have Aoife, so I felt guilty because they were both still working at the time. So my mum was coming down like in between work, and obviously it was all like this big push like to try and like let me do all this trial stuff, and I'm there like expressing milk in bloody toilets.
Exactly, innit? See, that's what I meant. Yeah, exactly, isn't it?
Then I didn't get the job either, and then so I had for a long time, like obviously you're upset if you don't get a job, but then I carried this guilt of like I felt like I'd given all that time to trying to get the job that I should have spent giving to Aoife at your home. You go to baby groups and there's other moms who are in a position where they're in a job, and so they were taking a whole year off. And so then I had this guilt of like, oh, they're having this whole year like with their kids, and I'm like passing her off and trying to like I'd be like, I'd finish work at 9:30 and I'd drive home like crazy because I knew that Aoife would wake up about 10, 10:30 and would be screaming. So I'll be like, go, get home.
Go, get back. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? And the thing is, though, like she's going to grow up and she's going to be so proud of you, though. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing, isn't it?
She comes a lot of I try to bring her places with me when I can and when it's practical. And like, I know some people who are freelancers, and they've had kids and they've gone back to work really early. Some of them have been on, for example, like been on touring shows that are going around the country, and they take their kids with them. And I just think like, that must be amazing for them and amazing for the kids. And it all just depends on like your support network. And,
for some people, it does. Everybody's different, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's an option for some people and it's not an option for others. And it's like, if you can make it work, like brilliant. And, Aoife, I'll bring her with me where I can. And so she gets to see, she gets to go on airplanes, she gets to see different places.
Exactly, isn't it? Yeah, that's it, isn't it? And I just think it's like I know like how William and Martha Martha played a bit, but she's not really interested that much. She loves coming to band and she loves everything about band, and she loves marching, which is crazy. She just march, but she's not really that bothered about playing because none of her friends are into playing really. Now it is, but they've just grown up like to totally, like they know that that's part of me, music, and it is, isn't it? That's what it is. So they're great about it, and like I think that's it, isn't it? And it's everybody's different. You just have to do what you have to do. You have to, don't you? Yeah. Everybody has different ways, and everybody has different lives, don't they? And it's just interesting to like see how we all manage.
Yeah.
Because everybody does it, don't they? And it's like I just think it's like I always remember the British Opera. I'd gone. We had 2 weeks. I think we did 2 weeks, nearly almost every night. Yeah. So like I had, when you're filling the freezer up, so they have feeds for like every, you know what I mean? And it was like I had to express before I even went on stage because I was like, oh my God, this is horrendous. First time where I'd left him for quite a long, like over 24 hours.
Yeah.
And it's just planning all that, isn't it? And we all do it. Everybody will have a story like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the bit I really hated about being back at work. Because there's a lot of things I enjoyed about going back to work quite early because I got to, we were in Manchester, we didn't have any of the family there, so I felt quite lonely when Toby went back to work. So actually for me going to work is like, oh, I can see my friends again, I get to see people, I get to talk to adults, like that was really nice. But then, oh my God, like expressing milk at work, like especially going in with different people, you're working somewhere different every week. Yeah. Trying to like explain, like there's lots of things about classical music that's like quite forward thinking. There's lots of things about classical music that is not so forward thinking, and trying to explain that you need to express milk is
exactly, isn't it? And the thing is, it's just you have to be super organised with it all, don't you? And like the thing is, you will be now. Even now you've moved over there. But the thing is, what I think once you all get moved over there, I think you'll have a much, won't you? you'll have a much more settled time.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's kind of like this period is really stressful because I'm commuting. I'm obviously, again, I'm away from Aoife. We're trying to bring her over when we can. My mum and dad are helping, so it feels really stressful. But we kind of know that it's a means to an end. Like the whole goal of this is that once we're here, we're going to have a much nicer sort of work-life balance and more stability for Aoife.
Well,
and
that's
being
lovely, isn't it?
and so that's
playing in
kind of
playing in a fantastic section as well. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's that's fantastic. So, like, I'm just trying to think. So, like, when did you start playing? And did you start playing at Langbar? I can't remember. I was trying to think.
Yeah, it probably will have been because I started on cornet. I was on cornet for years, but it probably will have been in Langbar. And then I played a bit in Langbar, and then I had lessons at school off Steve Baxter, even when I was in primary school.
Brilliant.
And then I think when I started secondary school, actually, I was still on cornet, and he taught me there. And then it was only when I was sort of about 15. I wasn't very good at the cornet still, and I was still just playing the cornet really badly. And he sort of said to me, like through Tees Valley Music Service, they had like endangered species instruments, and trombone was one of them. And obviously he's a trombone player, and he was like, look, why don't you try the trombone? And he brought one in for me, and luckily because of the scheme, you got a free trombone hire. So he brought one in for me. And like that day, I was playing, I think I was still trying to do my grade 5 cornet, and I couldn't do it. And that day I could play the grade 5 pieces on the trombone. It obviously just suited me a lot better to be playing trombone.
Shows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's it ever since, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then did you play at Fishburn? Yeah,
so I was at Langbar for ages, and then I went to Easington after that. So I was there for quite a while. Yeah. So really that was really just after I'd started playing trombone, I went to Easington.
Yeah.
And I was there for a good few years. Then actually I was at Fishburn. I mean, and then it was kind of because then I think my mum was at Fishburn, but my dad was at Easington. So I was at Easington, and then I went, I can't remember what order it was. Then I think I did a bit of Fishburn. It sort of crossed over a bit. And then after that, even when I went to college, I sort of would come back and play with Fishburn then. I think because mum and dad were both there at that point. I don't know. Then you get roped into it, don't you? Like,
That's it, innit? You do.
Yeah.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I've got a few more questions here for you. Let me have a look. Oh, so let's have a look. Do you feel attitudes toward women in brass are changing, like professionally? Would you say, like, what you've noticed in the orchestra and that? Is there more women in the orchestras, would you say? Or
I think so. I think it depends on like what it does differ from orchestra to orchestra. And like generally I think still the brass section probably lags behind other sections, like, and not just in orchestras, but I guess even in brass bands, there's been pushes to try and make girls play the bigger instruments, that are not just just the boys play the tuba kind of thing. So I think there is a change. I think we're seeing like there's some incredible players in orchestras. In like, one of my idols is Helen Vollum, and she's incredible. Like there's some really incredible players, and freelancing as well. There's so many good young freelancers out there now who are women. So I do think it's changing. I think, to me, I feel like there's more of a culture of, I think people are more aware of, okay, like who are we booking? Are we booking the best person for the job?
Yeah.
Whether they're male or female. I mean, my kind of view on it is I wouldn't want to be booked because I was a woman. I just want to be booked because I was the best player, and I was being given as equal an opportunity as a male player to have the gig, like, kind of thing. And I do think things are slowly moving in the right direction. Like with lots of other topics and other issues, there's always room for improvement.
It, isn't it? Yeah. So what, like, like young girls and women, like young women students, what advice would you give them to, like, because I know you've had quite a pathway there, and like, but you've stuck at it, and you've known what you've wanted to do. So like, what kind of like advice would you give like a young player who's maybe wanting to follow in your footsteps?
I think I always felt very lucky because in that I don't feel like I ever experienced too much sexism, I guess. Like I never felt like I was really stop from doing anything because I was a girl. So I felt very privileged in that sense. And I also was always a bit more one of the lads, so that kind of suited me quite well. But I just think, I think now it is more, there's so much more encouragement for female players, especially on the bigger brass instruments.
Yeah.
I think actually just talking to other people in sections in other orchestras, I think there is a lot of respect for, I think generally people do just want now the best player, and there's so much respect for female players. And I think attitudes are changing. I know I don't really do any teaching, but I have friends who teach, and I know now that they'll particularly encourage, particularly female students, well, any students, to say, I think years ago when I was growing up, I only was aware of like listening to CDs. I was only aware of male players. And like if you asked me who I looked up to as a player, it probably would have been a male player. And actually there's so many amazing recordings out there now of female players. And I know that in teaching, I have friends who teach who are female, and they will encourage their students to say, okay, what female players can you listen to? You know, like, so I guess try and broaden your listening, and just, I guess if you search a famous trombone concerto and you click on Spotify, probably one of the top recordings is going to be a male player, which isn't a bad thing. Like, a lot of my favourite recordings are male players. I think it's just to sort of be aware that there's a broader...
because I mean, I've had... it was only my third episode of Brassettes, but I chatted to Carol Jarvis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like, absolutely fantastic. And like, the thing is, like, she's like her story as well, you know, it's amazing. And like, she's a fantastic player, isn't she? And we've got all these like amazing female role models, haven't we? You know, and I think that's it, isn't it? It's you know, I'm a bit devastated actually, because when I did Carol's episode, I wasn't really confident enough to do video, and you know, and you're like, I feel so bad because she, you know, but never mind. Hopefully, I'll get to chat to her again, because like she, you know, because she was in Dubai, you know, she was.
She's done. I mean, she has a real sort of like broad spectrum of what she does, and that's things like you kind of don't have to be limited to. I've gone down the classical route. That's what I enjoy. That's been a really good fit for me. But it's like, again, it's like, I think as well, particularly going in the music college route, certainly when I was there, it was kind of this assumption that you would be a classical orchestral player on nothing else. And actually, you know, Carol's really like, in that sort of time, gone off and said, well, actually, I'm going to do all these other things.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be just sitting in an orchestra. Like, she gets to travel around the world and work with all sorts of people.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah, exactly, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, well, do you know what? It's been great talking to you, Wiz. Thank you very much. Thank you. So what have you got planned for, like, have you got a lot on this weekend then? Will you be performing this weekend?
Well, we're kind of winding down. So we had our last season concert of the year last week. So that's our last kind of big concert of the season. And then so this week we've got something called Lush Classical, which is sort of an outdoors concert. So that should be quite fun. And then we just got a couple of sort of education concerts, some quintet concerts. So quite a light sort of finish to the year. And then we finish at the end of June, and then we come back in August. We sort of have 4 or 5 weeks off, and then we start up again in August. So yeah.
Oh, well, that'd be something to look forward to as well, having a bit of a break as well. Yeah. Oh, well, lovely chatting to you anyway. And I hope to see you again soon when you're over here. Or if you're over there, I'll come to a concert. That'll be good. All the best. See you later. Bye-bye, Liz. Bye-bye. Thanks for Wiz for taking the time to chat with me, and thank you for listening. The music you hear is played by Tees Components Brass and written by Andrew Champion.